get the.
Yes.
syllabus.
You get one for Kate.
You don't need to.
Yes, thank you.
I just been using that, so.
All right.
Technically, it's very good at reading. Anybody else?
All right. I'm all set, hon. Bye. Yep, bye-bye.
All right, let's Marie brought some.
No, I just couldn't remember how to use them.
You want this too? This is the,
Okay, folks, let's get started. Nancy, would it be possible to shut the light off, Nancy? It's pretty blinding.
What light?
The light that's shining at us.
if we look at this, it's like a flash.
I don't know what it is.
Oh, this light.
It's the first time that's happened.
Yes, it is, so we can get that shut off. All right, so this is sort of our, we are presenting to the Budget Committee on the 14th. That will be here, I believe, in this room, at 6:30, so we're working our way back. We are going to try to finalize our operating budget this evening. So our budget.
Did that shut up?
Still on.
One is the operating budget that we're looking at.
All right.
Tonight. One is the warrant.
How's that?
We are also looking at tonight. And the other piece is the collective bargaining agreement that has been TA'd by both negotiating teams. They're both going back to we're both going back to our respective folks. We will look at it on the 8th. And looking forward to discussing that with all of you then. All right, so tonight we're going to look at the operating budget and the warrant articles. So let's start. Marie, do you want to walk us through anything?
I'm just going to highlight again, like I did the last time, between the difference between 1 and 2. So this is 2 and 3. When we, at the last meeting, at the last workshop, version 2 didn't have some things included in it, but we noted that we knew at the time, there's an interim, and I noted that was going to be included in version 3. So really, the only change in version 3 is some typos and some adjustments on that. And if you find any more, please let me know. And the SAU assessment was modified again. So really, that's all the changes that occurred. As we talked about last time, the track changes, and the track changes are in here. We knew about the property liability and workers' comp rate that changed, and that's reflected in here. So they're very, very minor changes from version 2 to version 3. We still left the late bus running here, so this is still included in here. Kate had indicated that the bathroom renovations were included in the budget, but when they got the actual numbers, it came in higher, so then now it's part of the warrant article. And Kate reviewed the version 3 of the narrative as well as the budget, and she saw that there were sinks in that listed as a narrative that they would have to also include in the maintenance line. We were not aware that was also part of the bathroom renovations. Doesn't change the dollar amount in the budget. It's just the narrative. So I fixed it going forward because we found out, again, in the interim, once this was printed. So it's listed here, but it will not be listed going forward on that one. But it doesn't change the bottom line.
6 or 7,
Right.
13, just cross it out.
Just cross it out. And I'm sorry about the numbering on page 6 or 7 under the maintenance line. The system wants to do its own thing. And every time I change it, it goes back. So it's not going to be a 13 anymore.
It's good because 12 isn't there either.
So that's really all the differences between version 2 and version 3.
Okay. I have a couple of questions, and then we can start talking about some of the details. You noted that we were receiving more state advocacy, and could you
had a conversation, Jenny can speak to that.
Like, no, I just wanted to know what, I wanted to realize how many years back is working on, that's all.
Yeah.
And we're working back a couple of years, it
Right.
sounds like, right?
Well, that increase is from that.
It's from that time.
Correct.
Right. It's money essentially that they all, that couldn't be, anyway, it's based on the data.
It's a formula.
Well, it's a formula, and what it is the prior year, we had such a decrease.
Yes.
And so the
Yes.
increase was enough to cause the increase in the adequacy dollars that we received,
Increase in 14.
based on the
Yes.
enrollment of
Yes.
14.
Yes. Just wanted to make sure. And the other thing that we should note on this is that under the Marshwood numbers of students on 107, that we have a total of 150 Marshwood students. That includes the 3 contingency slots we asked Marie and to put in, just so we know. And she put them in under the middle school, just as a place, they need to be under the middle school or the high school as a placeholder. She put them under the middle school. So just to know that that's what's there.
And there were minor changes in the number of students as well from when we created this report to this point in time. So that's what we're going to use going forward. This is it. Unless something dramatic happens, this is what it is. We added 3 people, we added 3 students.
So for the 14 budget, can I have the current enrollment at that day? So that way we can, even though this is set.
Sure.
Yes.
we're able to
Sure.
provide that.
Sure. Yeah. Get Marshall to get me that stuff, but yes.
That's a good idea. And then looking at enrollment, there's a discrepancy, and it could be because of the way things are done, but we have a total of 11 summer for students on page 1, but only have tuition 2 summers worth, we have 10 students. So,
But look at the line.
and we did line regular education. right?
That's correct.
Okay, so that's
That's all I can say.
That's all we need to know. Thank you. I just wanted to make sure that.
That's correct.
Because,
Yeah, that's correct. And we gotta leave it at that.
yeah,
Thank you.
and the same goes on with.
Yes,
as well.
that's
Okay.
correct.
Is this write-up on this page mandated by law?
Which one, the narrative? No, it's just the format that,
I like the format, but I'd like to add a couple of things to it. So I'm not going to get this advantage, but just for presentation purposes, what I'd like to do is, like we talk about the increase in revenue and expenditures, increase in expenditures. I want to do that with enrollment as well. So I want to show this year's enrollment. You know what I'm saying? So the current trend. Right. So just 2 years, right? What we're budgeting for, and what we budgeted for last year to show the difference that I want to have in the elementary school as well.
I think having the elementary school added would be very important because, as far as I know, in the surrounding area, there is only 1 elementary school that has increased enrollment, and that is Oyster River, Oyster Elementary Schools. We are the only other elementary school that I can find in the area whose enrollment has gone up. And that's key to showing how the town is growing.
so, you want to show enrollment as of 17 and then what we're projecting for 18. Is that the only change on this sheet?
Well, and I agree it's more showing the difference between what we budgeted for this current school year and what we budgeted next year.
As
Am I saying
what?
that wrong?
Budgeting number?
Yeah, so these numbers right here are what we're projecting for
Right,
next year. I
right,
want to see those.
Yeah,
I want to see what we projected last
Last.
year.
absolutely.
Yeah. That's.
And then you want to see the number of students in the elementary school as well? Because it's not, that's
That's
listed
not
here.
projected, right? That's just a fixed number. What I want to do is show what we had in last year and what we have coming up 14 this year. Right? The idea behind that is it's a great show and tell. You know, this page, right, is a show and tell page. So I just think it's.
So you want the enrollment, I just want to be clear, the enrollment as of June 30th to 16?
Right.
Because when they calculate all, the state does all the calculation based on October 1st enrollment. So all the comparisons on the state and for adequacy aid and all that, it's always the October 1st roll.
And let's do October 1st, October 1st.
Okay, I'm just
I
wondering.
think that, I mean, that's fair.
Okay.
You guys good with it?
But that'll change, that's not what these numbers reflect.
No,
because those are projected,
there's no
so
elementary in
projections
here
are
at all.
okay.
So these are projected.
Right.
These are-
No,
You,
I
I would
just
think
want
if you
action.
want to, okay, because you want to compare last year what we projected, because that gives you last year to this year. That's different than
So-
October 1st.
So for middle and high school,
Yeah.
the outsource,
Yeah,
I think it makes sense for us to show that you projected what we projected for this school year we're in right now,
yeah,
and the ones that were projected for
Okay.
next school. For the grade school, we don't project numbers. right?
no, we just take
Because-
action.
Because,
Yeah.
right, so I think it makes sense to use the October 1 and October 1 numbers just to show.
So for the grade school, use-
Right.
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, that was great.
We'll get more into some of the stuff.
Yeah.
So, other folks have questions on the narrative as we go through?
So that will be added on the bottom.
Yes.
Okay.
Some other information, there are also increases in the tuition rates, but we'll go into that afterwards. So, so what was not in last time was also the actual SAU assessment. And that one went up a little bit, especially for Martin. We'll get to that. On school administration, under page 5 or 7, at the very top, it talks about an increase due for proposed salary increase. That's a contractual salary increase. I don't want it in there thinking that
Okay,
we
so I'll just take it out. I'll
yeah,
take the word
yeah.
proposed out.
I just wanted to make sure that we're not thinking it's a proposal we're putting out.
And that's just for the administrator,
Yes, that's correct. Okay, I think, so other specifics from other folks to talk about.
Yeah, I'd like to ask about the utilities, the adjusted estimated water utilization, is that based on actual?
Well, the decrease
Yeah.
is because we were budgeting for the oil, and last year, the utilization went down a lot, and the price of oil went down a lot. And so I just adjusted it based on what was actually done last year, and it's kind of stabilized. We're not seeing an increase in the oil rate, in the oil prices.
Yeah.
Yeah, last year to this year? Yeah, so that's why it was adjusted. Plus the rack rate is less, is a penny less than it was last year. So that's why it was decreased based on actual and utilization and cost. That's why.
I think it's a good question, though. I mean, any of us who are hearing the news here, the prices may go up, but we can sort of come back to that.
I believe I didn't decrease it.
Yeah.
Tremendous, I mean, I didn't decrease it.
Give us a little bit.
Yes, I did.
That's
Yeah, that's the point. Do we have a little bit of pushback? Question.
If I remember correctly, for the last few years, we've been going for that month. Meaning
Yes.
we had a fund.
Right.
So,
Yes.
It's on page 9.
Did we, I could recall from the last meeting, I didn't go back into the minutes, what we were going to do, and I don't think we actually finished discussing the proposed projects. Broadside.
oh,
You mean the warrant articles or the maintenance
I was
articles?
talking,
Okay.
if I'm not mistaken, we wrapped up, but we didn't have enough time to. So, just for the discussion, so we're going forward with the sheds.
No, the sheds had been, Dick was here and he explained that there was one shed was going to be repaired. The other shed, I believe, is being, jump in here, Kate, it's a it's not repairable. There are 4 sheds, all right.
2 of them need to be, they're in decent condition, top level under the top level, this needs some basic repair. And then we have the one that's right here that's in real disarray, and the one that's over here behind, that's in disarray. The hope is to have, if the storage shed, as a warrant article is approved, to have those dismantled and taken off.
Because they'll have room in the,
Because-
this one's gonna be huge.
Correct, 30 by 30.
So where's that big one? Here's that?
That's the warrant, that's the
The
warrant
warrant.
article.
I want to.
Yeah, well, we kind of have to look at things all at once in a certain, in a way. So one of the things that I think we have to, there are a number of things we have to think about. And I'll just lay out some of the things I'm thinking about. As a board, we've made it sort of our goal over the last couple of years to just to say to the town that we are looking for savings. Capital outlays would be the only part of the budget we have any control over. And the administrators and the staff have all stepped up and they've found savings. Sometimes, luckily, it has not impacted education, but it has sometimes thrown their lives into a tizzy to do it, but they've done it. So I think, and we've even said in the last year or so ago that we were going to make some hard decisions on some things. I think we have to be looking at some of those decisions that we're going to make. We will also have a short discussion, I believe, in a little bit about the late bus. We'll talk about that. Now, as we look at our budget for the current year, we have an unanticipated savings in the budget this year because of the resignation that came essentially a year earlier than we wanted to save a slot. So as we look at some of these warrant article things, I think we need to prioritize them and get the school's priority as well. And then we need to say, well, will we have $35,000 left for us to spend in May on a shed? If we think we will, then I don't think we should go to the town and ask for that money. Will we have $60,000? Can we do the bathroom renovations? Will we have $60,000? If we think we will, then I don't think we should do a warrant article. So those are some things that we need to think about as we go forward. So, throwing it out. So throw in the mix, we'll start talking.
Well, I think that if they're being proposed, I get, we've done a lot. The administration obviously has done a lot. Staff has done a lot to save money. The shed, I think, and I'm a proponent of it, because I think it's being proposed for a reason. The current sheds are either falling apart, or there are things that are stored in those sheds. So if the things that are stored in those sheds get damaged because these sheds are falling apart, then that's an added expense that we're going to have to pay for in the long run. I don't know the exact condition, but I know that when you get a lot of snow on sheds and roofs start to collapse, you have problems. It gets expensive. So it's, you can be penny wise, pound foolish if we're relying on our Dick to tell us, hey, this needs to be fixed or replaced.
But the question is not whether we do a shed, it's where do we think the money can come from?
Yeah, I get that, but I think that this is going to be one of those sticking points. It's going to be, are we going to be keeping the stuff out in the sheds or emptying those sheds completely so there's nothing in them to get damaged?
I think that's not really, first of all, a discussion we need to have. I think the last couple of years I've been on board, there's been a fund balance at the end of the year. Last year was a bit of a different scenario, right, based on when we found out we had fund balance. But I think planning on $60,000 available in the budget at the end of the year, we can do things like this. We've had our attorney provide us that authority, letters saying we can do those types of things. So I also think that we need to prioritize what we put on the ballot to make sure that we do pass. And I think that's why the school and the school's budgets last year and the warrant articles passed is because of the package that we produced. So I'm actually for taking both the bathroom renovation and the storage project off this list, and without even talking to the administration about what they are, right, if their priority list. But here's my rationale for that. The lift is a legal issue. We've been talking about doing all of this. That's been our priority since I've been on the board. So that makes sense. Let's put it on the warrant and let's let the town see if they want to handle a potential legal issue. And then for the annex electrical, we've already set the precedent that we're going out for warrants to bring in electricity. Those are also maintenance items that we have promised the town that we are going to save in our budget. We're going to maintain in our budget, which we show in our maintenance repairs line, as well as ask for additional funds. So I think that's the direction we should go. And if we can't do a new storage building, right? Because this is the first time in 3 years I'm seeing a storage building on the budget, and it's not the first time I've seen it, and it's electrical and ADA lift, that's where I want to focus my attention.
Yeah, I agree. My fear would be that it may not, if people are questioning, the storage building would be hard sell,
Right.
perhaps.
But I'm not negating the fact that we need it, because I agree, it's a security issue, it's a maintenance issue, there's an issue, but I think we can do it this year.
And one other thing, and Jenny, please correct me if I'm wrong, if we put it on a warrant and the warrant doesn't pass, we cannot put money, we can't build one. We
Correct.
can't say, oh, we have money, we'll do it. We
Correct.
cannot do
That's
it.
right.
So,
Negate it completely.
so we're sort of saving ourselves from that as well.
Because if the town says no,
It means no.
And if the town says no to the ADA, then we just sue, the town can deal with it. Right? And that's how I'm
So any other thoughts on that? So it sounds like we're in agreement that we will go forward with a warrant for the electrical and a warrant for the ADA lift, probably in the order that we see them there, the lift first, because the order is important for, I believe, for how money is allocated, if they only allocate so much money.
no question on that. What lift is it?
It's the last one that has to be replaced, correct? And which one is it, Casey?
The main building.
The main building. Oh, the one
So
on
that's
that.
why I was asking.
I know.
Okay,
Your main buildings, I'll just list it.
Yeah, it goes from the top
Okay.
to the bottom.
yeah. So it has the.
which would be the most important.
And the most expensive, as I looked at it, as I
It's
recall.
the much, it's the largest for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It has the term.
Also, if you don't mind me asking, but, so the storage building, the way I understand is that it would, so that it would replace the other sheds in addition to equipment that's stored in the, stuff that's stored in the attic, perhaps?
Stuff that's stored everywhere.
Yes.
Down. Well, some of the stuff you can keep in the attic, but there is a lot of heavy equipment that's in the attic that, as you know, we don't have the ability to get down and up. And so once it's up, it's up, and once it's down, it's down. And there's lots of sporting equipment for day-to-day use. There's lots of teacher resources and materials. There's a lot of stuff and in classrooms that shouldn't be in classrooms, that we don't have anywhere else to put. And that's part of what would be there. But then it would also be like equipment. Like we right now, we have an auto scrubber in the electrical closet. Like there's things that should be properly stored.
Any other?
Which goes to my point, you know, I absolutely agree. I mean, there has to be a triage, no doubt, absolutely. I mean, and the lift,
No, I also want to acknowledge, we do have a storage container outside right now that we pay for that stores a number of things that can remain there that is safe and secure and keeping the things that are most important to the school safe and secure.
Well, I think it would be, I think the board would act as quickly as possible when it looks like we have the funds to do it. It's just that I don't see the point, we don't see the point, I think we're saying, and asking the town for that.
Makes sense.
And, I'm sorry, so the order to be listed, is it the lift first and the electrical second, or, yes, okay, so that's.
so what if the lift is approved in electrical?
That's what we were just saying, so it's actually okay, because the three-phase power is already in the main
So
building.
it will still,
Right,
It'll be fine.
right, so we don't require the power.
So maybe a food for thought, and you don't have to make a decision tonight, but if you're gonna go to the budget committee, the intent is to also do like we did with this last budget session, where if there was any money left at the end of the year, that we would put some in the special ed trust account and the maintenance account. The board is looking to have some funds built for maintenance in the future. So I don't know if that's another,
Right, I think we should do that. I think we should stick with the 25,000. My opinion is we would do that as a staple every year. We would just keep that.
so then I would add that underneath this. And what is the priority or listing of that? Special ed trust first?
I think
The special ed fund has money in there.
But it also, one out-of-town placement takes it out.
Okay.
So,
All right, so just making sure. So 25 for sped and 25 for maintenance.
and I think what we're not at the point where I feel we're over saved in those accounts yet. I mean, in a few years we may be,
Right.
if we don't spend it, but.
So I'll show that on here too. Sped first, maintenance second. Thanks.
Go ahead.
You guys, okay? So, looking in the maintenance repairs, to continue the maintenance repairs. So, I think when I look at this, or, forgive me for listening to this budget, are they in priority order?
Just listen.
I want them, if we could, to be listed in priority order, and here's my rationale. Some of these items on here are starting to get into not major maintenance items, which I think is important. And I think that shows that we're starting to invest in money in the school, and starting to get things ready to the building, the things that we need. But I don't want to be, have anybody thrown off when they look at the list of how we do things. Right? That's my opinion, and I don't know how the board feels. It's just a matter of, it's important how you present. Does anyone have any thoughts on that? I'm just thinking the flagpole is very important, but it is a cosmetic item. Right? And so I want cosmetic items toward the bottom of the list and hard maintenance items at the top of the list. And the door flashing, that's a maintenance item that can save us money in oil, heating, different items, things like that. Summer dumpster, we talked about that last time. How do you guys do it?
What was this on the dumpster?
No, I'm saying that's my point.
Well, we
is
did talk about it last time, and it has to do with the cleaning out of the attic, among other things, and other things, and work that's going to be done to do some real clean out in this building, from what I understand.
I'm just saying we just need to pay attention to the order. That's all. Just so when we come out, we're not, we look like we're.
I think that's helpful, and along those same lines, a number of these items, the door flashing on the north and south, possibly the flagpole and the front steps are also mentioned in the historic assessment. And so I've asked Kate, I think I've asked you, to make sure that Dick has a copy of the historic assessment, and you and I will be meeting with Peter sometime, and you and Peter can figure out the time that works best, because we don't want work being done that's going to have to be redone, or to be done in a way that's not historic, so as long as Dick reads those things. But also, if we do that work without going through all the work to sort of get a matching grant, we may be able to use the work we've done as a matching grant in the future, and that's something that we'll be discussing with Peter, hopefully sometime in the next couple of weeks, so that we'll know about that as we move forward. But these are the sort of things to keep in mind these days. Go ahead, Kate.
So, for example, like the front steps, so we had priced out both like being fixed and being
Triage.
done. Like it needs.
Oh, fix or
Like,
or
or Band-Aiding, right?
Yeah.
So to really do it, you're talking $25,000 to $50,000 if you're really doing it. Band-Aiding it is like $5,000, but this is the kind of stuff that plays into the decisions that Dick has to make
Yes.
based on, if you talk door flashing, that plays into sort of that kind of stuff. So a lot of what you see here is not doing, it's Band-Aiding, so that it doesn't get worse. So like, the face falls off, water gets in, it's worse, it's replacing the face, it's not replacing the whole thing. That sort of stuff is an important understanding.
Yeah,
Mm.
it is, and a lot of them, the front steps are a safety issue, obviously, I would think. So,
Those are the types of things that we need to keep in mind and not just Band-Aid and fix. Remember, we're going in with a budget that's less, which is what we said we were going to do, right?
well, that's for RGS, yes.
Right, that's what I mean.
Yes.
Right, but that's all we can
Yes,
do,
right,
right? It's to say that. We're putting on some warrant articles, right, but we need to be mindful of the Band-Aids
Right.
and not Band-Aid everything with the same things, right? So, you know, I like the idea of listing what we're doing here, because I think that helps the town understand where we're spending money. But the important thing is that this maintenance line item can be spent how it needs to be spent. So, you know, we're gonna look to the administration, we would to make sure that the right decisions are made, whether that means repair or price.
I think priority order is good, and you reminded me, Alan, you were saying that, not this year, because it's too late for that, but I think next year, our representative to the budget committee, I think it would make good sense if they also sit on the CIP committee. I know that Dick has a long-range plan of things, of when things have to, when a roof has to be replaced. I know he has something on there. I haven't looked at it closely, but it'd be good for the town to get that on their CIP plan in the sense of, this is coming down the pike. So let's start figuring out how we as the school can, we can't have a CIP fund the way they can, but if we earmark a certain amount of money that we return to them and say, look, we know we're gonna be needing this money back at a certain point. Hang on to it, of course.
Put things, you know, in coordination with the town.
Have we already?
The town is just getting theirs off the ground.
Well, I
So-
remember, I was at that one meeting, but I'm just curious why we're not really going along,
We
not
haven't
saying,
We're not prepared, we haven't been prepared.
Right, but that being said, there has been some informal discussion about merging or creating one, but I think the town needs to mature in their process, as well as we need to be ready to work with them. So I think next year is the year to start having that conversation.
well, the only reason I say that is because, well, having listened to what was being discussed, there was a lot being thrown out as far as what the town needed or was proposing. I mean, and the dollars are going to be extraordinary. So I think for us, I just don't want us to end up being in a bad spot where, well, you know, the town's already, we're gearing up to get these projects done, and we're gonna be sort of left behind. And I know we've got some serious stuff that could be done, we could.
Well, we've done one. We've done the start of laying out, and these warrant articles are directly off what I gave you back short, I think last spring. So, I mean, we created, Kate, Dick and I met, we created a 5-year plan. We're chipping away at the start of those items. These two are two that come off that list. Now, we've not merged with the town, we've not had those conversations, but, you know, when folks are ready, we at least have a starting point and a starting place to have those conversations.
And when is the town supposed to be on theirs?
They've already done it for this year, to get ready for the budget, so I really don't know. I'm not a member of it, I don't know, but I think that's why next year will be a good time to become sort of officially, whoever's on the budget committee might become part of that group and move forward with it. So the idea now is to get these, the maintenance items into a priority order,
Yeah.
but can that,
Yeah.
Alan, you want?
No,
Emily? Good. Andrea?
On me, I guess I'm all good on maintenance.
Is it time to talk rate plus?
I renew my objection on the shed. Well, my objection. I'll be the only one that believes we should go forward with the request.
Oh, leave it on the warrant article?
I really believe it. But I mean, that's just my
do
opinion.
you not think that we're gonna have the money this year to do it? Are you worried about that?
I think this is there's two parts to it. And I think that, it's partly, I'd like to think we're gonna have the money left over to do it. But if we don't, which is possible, then it's another year that something doesn't get done. And I would like to think that we're not presenting any projects or anything that's not really necessary. I think that we've done a very good job of saying, you know what, we really need to hone in on what's necessary. And I think that that message is gone to the staff, the administration, that we really we need to watch these pennies, and I think we've done a very good job of that. That being said, if somebody's presenting something to us, and, if we don't have enough money, we can't do it. It's really that simple. So we either have a choice, we can run the risk of them not approving it. But I think it's incumbent upon us, and this is where I make the argument, it's incumbent upon us to make the argument, why is it that we need these things? Why do we need to review bathrooms? Is it because they're 100 years old and we have young children using them? Is that not a good enough reason? I think it is. Why do we need a storage shed? Because the other sheds are collapsing and we have things that need to be stored. So that's my point.
And I think, Tom, I certainly don't disagree that these things need to be done. I have enough degree of confidence because of what we've seen in the past few years that we will be able to do both of those projects. And I certainly hope that's true. Now, I don't have a crystal ball. We may not. We may be able to just do one of them.
Right, and I go further down to say that if we don't have the money, the two that we're leaving on the board are the two that we should do.
And Alan, I absolutely agree. I mean, as far as a triage and prioritizing, you're not going to get it on. I mean, there really isn't.
So do we need to be more formal on what we're, whatever?
So I want to just,
I have a question. What happens if we decide to go forward with the warrant article and at the end of the year we have enough money to do it and just, oh no,
What
we'll
you
vote
do?
on it before.
To do the warrant,
No,
you
you
can't.
can't.
The warrant either has to,
I was just gonna say, when you do a warrant, if it passes, the
Right,
money
no,
is
I get it.
allocated for it. If
No,
it
my
doesn't
point
pass,
was-
you can't do it.
Right, my point was, if we went forward with the warrant article, it passed, and we ended up having the money at the end of the budget this year, could we just do it then instead of?
No, we do something else.
We do,
But,
yeah.
but
because
that's
you've already-
going around our list, right, which is not how I want to do business, right? I want to be very succinct in how we do it. So stick to the priorities, stick to the order.
Can I just offer someone, because I just want to be clear about why the bathrooms, you haven't seen them before. We were envisioning piecemealing it, like, and what we've been doing, like replacing the sink, replacing a toilet. The issues with the downstairs bathroom is they are deteriorating very quickly. It was sort of an idea of like, should we not, rather than just try to replace one toilet or one sink? So that's where we got that. And we originally thought we would do that and do a good percentage of it, about $10,000, and we had it in the maintenance line. Then when we had it fully priced out, including like new doors, that's when it came in at a much higher price. So it has been actually on our radar, we've been talking about it and doing piecemeal. We then thought we could come in a little bit closer, we just like,
I'm going to do it. I'm going to talk about us.
okay, we're gonna talk late bus for a moment. Now, we know that I asked Marie to put it in and so that we could see it as a line item. It's about $21,000. We will get a quick
So-
update from Jenny,
Yeah,
who has
sure.
gotten some late bus information for us.
So I talked to, so last meeting you asked me to talk to Mary and you asked me to call her student back. Her student's a little busy with potential strike stuff still, so they haven't gotten back to me yet. Mary did get back to me yesterday, and what she will offer is the cost of transporting the kids from Central School to the Legion is, like, they figured driver, maintenance, and gas was $22 a day. So that was to finish this year up. So if after February vacation, you choose to continue with the late bus, the cost would be around $1,200. It's 53 days, 22 something, 22 and change per day. So that was the information you asked me to gather, that's what I gathered. I would assume the cost would be more, because that was just February to the end of the year. I didn't ask her to price out next year, because that wasn't the directive. So that's what I have for information.
But we could probably assume, even if we did 30.
Triple.
If-
Yeah, like,
Oh.
or double it.
Oh, a
Oh,
day,
total.
a day.
No, the total. No, the
Yeah, I
total.
was thinking the same thing.
No, I mean, even if they went from 22 to 25, so if you say,
We're
yeah,
talking about under $4,000.
I would assume.
4,000. If,
So the question is, do we leave it in or do we take it out? I am a proponent for taking it out and giving our parents plenty of time to figure out what they do. I did not bring the latest. There was a small uptick, but it's a small uptick. We are still paying an enormous amount per child per day to get them delivered to their homes.
So right now, in the budget, it's broken up middle school, high school, for late bus even.
If you look at the, yeah.
Yeah.
it's a
but-
percentage based, yes, it's a
Okay,
percentage.
but you're talking for next year, or for, so I was thinking 18, the budget would be 21,000.
Yes.
Is what?
Based on each person's contract.
And I think this is a place where we as a board have the opportunity to make a hard decision of a difference of over $15,000 to show that we too are making hard decisions in the budget. And while it has ticked up, we are still not up to an average, we might be up to an average in the last couple of weeks of 10 students per day.
Got it.
We've gotten that, but, yeah.
Do we, is there anything in our contract with First Student that says we can't use Marshwood for the late bus? Would we be in violation of our contract with First Student if we hired Marshwood to do this?
I'm not sure, because I don't have the contract in front of me, so I don't know.
It was in our RFP. No, it was in there.
It was in their
It is
proposal.
in their proposal, but they're doing it.
But if it's in their proposal, but we had canceled and
So
We
this
had
is
done
just
it.
cost.
Oh,
We
yeah,
did it.
that's just.
Yeah, we have to look at
Was the
the
late,
document.
yeah, was the
Yeah, I
late
don't-
I
bus
have that
part
sheet
of
too,
that?
but
I don't think we got
We did it.
the proposal. I mean, I don't think when we put the request out, we even knew about
Yeah,
the
we-
late bus
yeah, it
situation.
said
And
Yeah.
even the discounted rate, because initially that, it was $8,000 for the year, and,
That was a one-time thing, okay.
So we made some
Okay.
decisions on the late bus without having all the facts in front of us.
right.
And I flip-flopped on the issue numerous times. I am going to agree with Jane that, I'm not with June, that it needs to be removed from the budget proposal for next year. And the rationale is it's a tough decision, right? And we're making a lot of tough decisions here in the grade school, and this is one of the areas that we can make a tough decision for the middle high school. And we're gonna give plenty of time, plenty of notification to do this, to make sure that there are arrangements made, and we can possibly negotiate the first week to allow us to use Marshall. You know,
Yeah.
because I remember reading the proposal, both companies.
It was all or nothing.
Right, it was all or nothing. But I think they're referring, in my opinion, they were looking at the middle high school runs and the elementary runs. So I think this is outside of the scope of that, so I think it's worth a conversation with them, especially for the price. But either way, I would like to see it.
The other reason I would like to see it removed is that should Marshall go to a late start for high school, we would be incurring more transportation I'd rather say, well, in order to pay for that, we're gonna have to cut the late bus 2 weeks in or something, so I'd rather not have to do that.
She wants to take it out. We can still discuss whether or not if we want to, if we can, go forward with the 20, with Marshwood providing the service to the Legion.
Yes.
But she's suggesting using that $21,000.
I would rather see us reduce it to $5,000
Well, that makes sense. That makes sense so that we can cover.
Yeah.
built in the Marshwood.
That makes sense. Well, it makes sense that we cover it.
No, but we could put it in the budget if we choose not to enter into a contract, increase the
Right.
fund balance to
It's
5,000.
5,000.
Right.
It's not 20,000.
I think I'd be willing to do that. I don't think I would do it.
And for a student may, I don't know if we would even offer that to them, I mean, because we.
I would just ask them.
Yeah, I can have further conversations with, I mean, I'm waiting to get their reduced price, but even their current reduced rate is still twice what Marshall would say they would do, so.
And if they say, oh, yeah, we'll be willing to do it, then maybe we look at doing it 2 days a week instead of 4 days a week. And maybe we look at other ways to, but we still, then we have $5,000 in the budget to handle it, to cover it.
But there seems to be 1 or 2 days that are
They're heavier.
certainly, yeah, Thursdays are heavy.
Thursday's one of them.
And whether for a student, or no, not would, give us, look at a rate dropping students at the Legion, if that would make a difference to them as well.
Doing a one
Yeah, I don't know that it's, yeah, I think it's the bus, I don't know that it's, but I can ask, I'll ask any questions you want.
So other thoughts or concerns about it at this point?
No, I'm disappointed that I'm coalescing because I feel like the only person on my side of the fence, so I won't get my way. But I'd like to keep it. I think the availability of it is what's important, not necessarily the use. And I think that, when you look around, the vast majority of other schools have an activities bus that runs late. And I feel as though our children not having the availability of a late bus puts them at a disadvantage. And so I'm disappointed that we are not going to provide that. But I understand your concerns as well.
I'd like to say I'm disappointed in a couple things. Number one, I was disappointed that some of the stuff we found out about the original offering from Marshwood was not necessarily factual about that bus, about some of the stuff that had gone on. There was a question about, people being turned away more than once, and it wasn't true. And that kind of bothered me because I think we relied on some of that anecdotal stuff to really make our decision. I think we were trying to do the right thing.
From some of the anecdotal stuff from parents.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we were showing up to meetings, but and I voted for us to stop it because I thought the ridership was low. But
Well, and we also thought we had a solution as
Right.
well. And
But I think that, we need a late bus. And, I thought about this more and more, and even after I had said, well, is there a way to get them to the Legion? But what about the kids all the way on the other side?
So,
No, but what about the kids that are on the other side of town? And to Emily's point, this is an offering. This is part of what we should be doing, because other towns offer this as well. And it's unfortunate. I mean, we're now in year 2 of our arrangement with Marshwood. So I think we're still trying to, feel our way through. And that means clubs, that means sports, that means, older kids who have younger brothers and sisters who are gonna be going up there soon, they're gonna hear about all the stuff they have, and they're gonna wanna take advantage of some of those things that last year, a lot of our kids didn't really, I'm not gonna say they didn't know about, but just didn't get involved. Now they are involved. So I say that we are seeing a little bit of an uptick. I've been looking at those numbers too. Would I like to see it a lot higher? Absolutely. But there's still 10 kids that are using that bus. So what are we, you know, it's an offering. It's something like Emily says, it's an offering. It's something we offer as part of the
Well, just another point, I mean, it's an expensive offering. There,
Yeah, it is.
that $20,000 could send all the Rollinsford grade school kids who go to nature camp to nature camp. Well, right now, the parents pay for that.
Yeah.
But another point is, if they go to a late start in the high school, there won't be a late bus from the high school. So the numbers will go down. The ridership will go down. There's so many unknowns around next year.
We don't
So
know.
right now, we're talking.
How do we know that?
You know, so
Well,
I
because
see
we
the
have 3 o'clock.
arguments on all sides, but I just wanted to bring our attention to just one thing, right? We're talking about $27,500 to renovate a bathroom. How many students will use that bathroom?
Well, 165 is hopefully.
Right, so 165 students will use that bathroom. And how long, what's your projection, what's the payback on that bathroom? How long is it going to last before you have to maintain it? 10 years?
It's half as long as it lasted this
Yeah,
year.
yeah. Let's just be realistic,
10
10
years, yeah.
10 years, right? So $27,000, $27,500 for 10 years for 165 students, or $20,000 for 10 students. To me, we're making tough decisions here in this school. It's time to make some tough decisions outside of this school.
So to follow your logic for a moment, say 100 out of the 165 students decide not to use that bathroom.
But I have to have it, no, but let's be serious about that. I'm 100% on board with that, right? So let's say they decide they don't like the color that you paint the bathroom, right? I want to hear about it,
Yeah, but why?
right?
But my point is that what you are offering is the availability of a bathroom for that money.
I'm offering
We're
a
not
service that is
guaranteed.
guaranteed to be used, right? And also the difference in numbers between 10 and 160. So the opportunity is much greater.
Slightly tongue-in-cheek.
I got you.
My point,
I got
though, is that the bus is available for all of our middle and high school students to use, whether they choose to use it, much like whether they choose to use the bathroom at school, it's available for all of them to use.
And I would also, to piggyback to that, I would say, well, we're making tough decisions. Renovation of a bathroom for children, to me, that's not a tough decision. That's an easy decision. I would say, we as a school, we're as a board, part of our job here is to explain to the town why it is we need to upgrade the bathroom that their children use. I don't think anybody in town is going to argue. I'm not talking about the budget.
Solid. No,
I'm
but
talking about.
I agree with you 100%. Where the hard sell is to pay $20,000 a year for 10 students to ride the bus every day.
Even if it's 20 students.
That's where the tough sell is. And I flip-flop on the issue. I'm not going to deny that. I'm just saying that now that we have the facts in front of us, so I don't need anybody to.
Well, and quite frankly, and again, we'll get a consensus at some point here. If there are enough parents who feel that their children will ride this bus, I believe they could certainly put in a petition warrant article and get the town, and get the towns, and explain to the town why they need it, why they want it, and therefore the money would be available to do it. I think that's a perfect way to go on something like this, where
I am really torn, obviously, because I know there are some folks that use it. However, I know that we are trying to make decisions here that are for the betterment of all the students in Rollinsford and the town, taxpayers. So I would be curious to see other surrounding, if there are towns. I mean, I've heard, you know, I've talked to parents that say in Massachusetts, they don't have any bus. There's some schools, and I don't know, you know, in New Hampshire it's a law, I think.
We are not required to transport high school students, period, under New Hampshire law. We are only required to transport elementary and middle school students under New Hampshire law.
Actually, grades 1 through 8.
All right, yeah, all right. Grades 1 through 8, they make it very clear.
Yeah.
I mean, does like Dover have a late bus? Does, you know?
I mean, Dover, yeah. But it's not a comparison.
But it is in a way. It is in a way. Because you're offering, you're talking about a geographic area where you have towns all around you that are offering certain things. And we are one of those towns. And if Marshwood is offering it, we're now part of that.
You're turning that around on me, because that's what I said originally. And I'm on board, but my mind's not in the jump in to go and do that cash.
Well, I like what Emily suggested about putting some money in there, so at least we can entertain the option of Marshwood's offering of the $22, because that would be a solution of the sort.
And if we're going to take that money out, I think we need to reconsider what we're going to do with those warrants. How we're going to handle those warrants. Because I think of that bathroom as a priority. I think of it as a priority.
I do also, and I feel that we will be able to address it in May without having to wait.
It's late.
What do you mean it's too late?
We need, what if we don't have the money? What if we don't have the money in May? Then the bathroom doesn't get.
We're projecting the money.
I have a reasonable degree of confidence.
No, but totally get that.
So we're projecting the money to have to do that. I want to see a cut, and I want to see a reduction.
We could, we offer a solution. If the bathrooms are that important, we could encumber the money tomorrow. Have it set aside, and then if we have a problem, we can unencumber that money. But you could see it disappear from the bottom line. We can encumber it under maintenance, and it would be there starting the next budget you see.
So why don't we do that at our next board meeting? Why
It's a
don't we talk
wonderful
about it?
idea. But I'm a little disappointed that we pushed that off. If that was something that was necessary, and Dick and the administration think that was required, well, no, but seriously.
I know.
Come on, kids are using that every day. I mean, if
So it's good,
you
This
think
way we can
they are.
address it as soon as possible.
I think
Actually, this is the
that's-
fastest way to address it. We don't get
I
it.
agree.
So let's, no, we wouldn't do it to.
Correct. The dates will
It's
go
gonna-
out.
we
We
can
can't
start.
do it, because it's going to disrupt the plan.
Yeah,
Right,
we
no,
can
no,
start
no.
that day, I just.
So you-
So we're proposed to draft.
All right, so,
No, not tomorrow. They're gonna
We have school board
take care of
meetings
Thursday.
Thursday.
all right, so, right now, we are not going to go back into the warrants, I don't think, unless people are interested in going back to the warrants. We are now, so for the lake bus, right now, we're talking about reducing it from the 21,000 to 5,000, to give us at least something there.
I'm in favor.
So let's do a consensus. Consensus in favor of doing that? Three of us, people who are against it or abstaining or whatever. So we will be reducing it to 5,000. Any other budget issues? Emily, you had mentioned something about, last time about NOS, offering the new admin assistant not giving the 2% immediately because you had been here a full year. You had talked about that. Do you want to bring that up again, or?
Well, we had wondered if that really should be in there
Yeah.
or not,
Take it
I
out.
guess.
You can take it out there.
I mean, we're all gonna assume that everyone's gonna do great work and everything, but we didn't want to put the cart.
But you would have been less than a
before
year.
the
You would have been here a little, about a little year.
But you can leave it in there and give it to the person. Right.
Okay.
Right, I mean, the person's gonna be here for more than 3/4 of the year, you gotta have a cutoff at some point, I agree, but 3/4 of the year, I'm on board. Which is weird for me to say, I agree.
So we did increase the rate for the position when we've been hired.
Right, based on experience.
Yeah, but
That's why we
Right,
increased.
based
But
on
this
experience.
year, every year, you deserve to get an increase. I mean, mean, that's why we built it into the budget to begin with. I mean,
But there's less number of days.
Significantly less.
That's right.
Well, I mean, I'm comfortable, I think it's fine.
it's not.
Any other budget lines, issues?
Well, I had asked about whether we were, and I think you were gonna talk to Kate about it, just whether or not we were gonna continue with,
Co-curriculum.
Oh,
yes.
Yes, so
We
Kate,
I'm working, sorry.
so Kate and I spoke about that. The issue at hand is we've advertised. Nobody's stepping up to the plate, so we're working hard again, we're advertising again. So our intent is to have someone to do this, it's finding someone willing to do it.
I interviewed 2 people, offered it to 2 of them. Mr. Ario was going to partner with them so that there could be like an actual school employee with them. He doesn't know a lot about the athletics, but he's going to be here to help facilitate the kids and the parents. And it's really hard to have a job that lets you out to be in a school at 3:15 is near to impossible, and it really does essentially work out best if it's another educator, and that's really hard because our teachers are strapped with a million other committees, and so it's been very difficult to find someone. There will be a newsletter going out, or we can actually put it in our newsletter, hope maybe parents might be able to do it, or older siblings might want to do it, or something, just so that we can do some basketball before hockey and things of that nature.
okay. So leave it in there, obviously. Okay.
We're working hard at it. It's like, so,
It's every classroom.
oh,
Most of the time, it's not even in front of the room, it really doesn't matter. Think of how much money it's
It doesn't, though, you go on. It would cost more money to keep turning on and on.
Except for most of the time, it's not.
yeah,
That's true. And are we fully staffed with aides at this point, or are we still
Nope.
looking? We're still looking, correct?
still looking. It is-
On Monday.
Aides and subs are, oh,
Is it, now it's due to the job market, not due to what we were paying?
oh, God, no.
Okay.
The job
Just
market.
want to make sure,
Oh,
just want to make sure that we didn't have to discuss that.
no.
All right, anything else from folks?
Can I summarize what the changes
Please
are?
do.
Because what I have is, on page 1 of 7, I'm going to show from the high school, middle school, what we had budgeted for what we budgeted for 17 compared to 18 for the middle and high school. For the elementary school, you're going to want to have the grade school actual 16 and actual October 17 enrollment. On page, what?
Yes, you're right.
I said 15, 16.
You said 16.
There's an October 17th.
Well, yeah, but I know what you mean. It's gonna-
Okay, yes, I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
I get
yes.
it.
I said fiscal year, so that's
Yeah.
why, okay. The next one is, my note is on page 5 of 7. I'm taking out proposed contract for administrator to contractual. On page 6 of 7, Kate will prioritize the order on the maintenance repairs line. And number 13 will be struck out. And 7 of 7, the after-school program will, transportation will be reduced to $5,000. Did I catch everything? Thank you. Oh, and I'm also, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay, if you want to finish.
And I'm also striking on the list on the CIP and other warrant articles, I'm striking the last 2 items, making the ADA lift, number 1, the annex electrical, number 2, sped, the sped trust account, 25,000, as long as there's fund balance, and 25,000 for the maintenance, as out of the fund balance, as long as that amount is there. Sorry, I apologize.
Oh, no. Well, I know we in the past have spoken about lawn care and, I don't know, the trash removal, and if that was something that we were still going to pursue talking about with the town, and I just wondered, You would, somebody would, or I thought it was you, Judy,
We-
was gonna go to a meeting and discuss it. And
The town did help with some of the cleanup that had been done.
Yep.
And I think actually that the school and the town, I mean, the school talks to the town and it happens. Or it can happen that way.
The dumpster, I think we had the conversation, correct me if I'm wrong, that it was still needed and we couldn't combine the efforts and the cost wasn't, yeah, and then there was, well, and the mowing issue still at hand is, they don't come that often for what we're paying, because it's a fall cleanup and a spring cleanup, if I remember correctly from the conversation.
Okay.
So before we go, I just wanted to remind Alan and talk to him a little bit about this and for the rest of you. Marie does a manual effort to pull apart the pieces of the budget to show Wallingford grade school separate from middle school, separate from high school. While we could combine middle school and high school, we wouldn't mind. It really throws off her reports because she has to report them as middle school and high school separately, so she pulls them out separately. And then all other expenses, SAU expenses, school board expenses, transportation expenses, everything that's sort of outside the realm of actual education that's happening or educational programs that are happening, because those are expenses we're going to have no matter where the kids go to school, so there's no point in including them. So, and she's going to do the same thing again this year, and I have also asked her to pull out the warrant articles simply because it made more sense to me to have them pulled out to see what we're paying on warrants this year and next year, rather than have them buried in the budget. So she will have
They're
that.
not gonna be pulled out.
Oh, no, well, you're gonna have another box.
I'm gonna have another box.
Here, you're gonna have
They're not
another
gonna be pulled out of the
box.
total.
No,
Right.
they'll be in the totals.
They'll be, yeah,
We're
be a
gonna-
reference.
And these will all tie back to the right totals, and that'll be sort of how Alan and I will work on
That's
presentations.
that's really what we use to build the presentation.
And I think we're sort of working toward, at least my goal is with Alan's help, to work toward having things that we regularly show the budget committee and regularly show the town. And this will be the second year in a row that we're showing them these things broken out this way, and they get used to seeing it that way, and then as years go on, it'll be easier. Marie will keep providing the reports, and we can just easily show them the differences as we go forward. And I think that's going to be very helpful for the town as we go forward. So I appreciate all the work you have to put into it, Marie. It's very helpful.
So we're here for education and communication, right?
It's very helpful. All right, I think we're ready to
Perfect.
go on. Thank you all very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.